Hello, everyone, and welcome to Get Can Lit, a podcast that showcases Canadian authors. I'm your host, Maria Zupardi, an avid Can Lit reader, and keep on listening to find your next favorite book today. Hello, everyone. Today might just be the shortest episode ever of the Get Can Lit podcast because I don't think I've actually read a Canadian authored book this month yet. I've been busy getting my current home ready for sale, so literally, I have 7 blue tote bins in the garage full of books plus 2 more in my closet. So, yeah, I have had limited access to most of my books, which has been pretty depressing if you're a book lover and you know how that is. But I cannot wait to move in June just so I can have all of my books with me again. But anyway, since I don't have too much to talk about today, I figured a general book buying and awards update is just going to have to do. But first off, shout out to Penguin Random House Canada for sending me a copy of Tell Me Pleasant Things About Immortality by Lindsay Wong. It is a short story collection about immigrant horror stories where the women in each story haunt or are haunted. So I love a good collection with a very clear theme to the book in each story. So I'm definitely excited for this one for sure. And keeping on the horror angle for a second, I ordered myself a copy of Delicious Monsters by Liselle Sambury, just because I've been hearing such amazing things. In case her name sounds familiar, she's the author of Like Magic and Blood Like Fate, which are both fantasy books, but this new one is more thriller, possibly horror to it. It's about two teens discovering the mysterious past of a mansion, but their stories are or they take place 10 years apart. So we've clearly got dual timelines, most likely dual point of view here too. So I just can't wait for my order to come in from Book City. And Quill and Choir also gave it a starred review and calls it a story that won't be forgotten. So yeah, be prepared to listen to me rave about Delicious Monsters by Liselle Sambury in a future episode. Moving on to awards now, two major prizes were announced this past week, the Women's Prize for Fiction and the first ever Carol Shields Prize. Both are very prestigious ones in the industry, even though Carol Shields is literally brand new. But first, I know we all pretty much know the Women's Prize here. I won't get too much into that one. I just wanted to call out that the only Canadian who made the long list was Children of Paradise by Camilla Grudova. I believe that's how you say it. And I had to buy it off of Book Depository because, surprise, surprise, it's not available anywhere in North America. And this also came out in July of 2022. So, I mean, if the North American rights had already sold by now, we would have already had the book available somewhere. So, yeah, I'd imagine someone will be bidding on those rights currently, but it's still going to take a very long time for it to actually be available to order. I think that's basically kind of what happened with oh, what's it called? It's that blue book cover, Hamnet, there you go. So, I remember it was a disaster to get that book, when that came out. So, yeah, this is pretty much the same situation for anyone who wants to read Children's of Paradise. But it is a new horror book that will definitely be added to my TBR. It's about Holly, who works at one of the oldest cinemas in her city. But something, I don't know, just based off the description, it just seems very cult like with certain employees. And once Holly is finally accepted into their kind of circle, tragedy strikes, of course. It definitely sounds more literary horror. I don't know if it will make it to the shortlist, but obviously I'm rooting for it to be because Camilla is the only Canadian. And now the new award I wanted to talk about is the Carol Shields Prize for Fiction. Like I said, it's a new prestigious award that's for both Canadian and US authors. And the prize money is bigger than the Giller. It's 150,000 US dollars, which comes to over 200,000 right now for Canadians if a Canadian wins with the exchange rate. And this award celebrates creativity and excellence in fiction by women and non-binary writers. And out of the 15 longlisted authors, 5 of them are Canadian. So there's Junie by Chelene Knight, who is basically like Canlit royalty here. I mean, I consider her Canlit royalty personally. Then there's God Isn't Here Today by Francine Cunningham, which I ordered from Book City. It's like horror short stories. I don't know. I'm just on a horror binge right now, I feel. Next is We Should Not Be Afraid of the Sky by Emma Hooper. We Measure the Earth with Our Bodies by Tsering Yangzom Lama, which many of you know that I absolutely loved that book and I think it should win every prize. And lastly, The Sleeping Car Porter by Suzette Mayr, which was last year's Giller Prize winner. I wish there was more Canadian representation on this long list, to be honest, but that's just obviously not how it kind of worked out for this year, so fingers crossed for 2024, I guess. I don't know. I just wish that there was more Canadian rep on this list, but hey, I'm happy with the books that made it. And 3 of the 5 that I just mentioned are from independent presses, so represent. All right, and one last update for you because I was talking about the Indigo disaster last episode. The website is back up and running. I wish they would have a data update so book descriptions were like what they're supposed to say. Some descriptions are just like publishers like key selling points, which is meant for like internal salespeople, or like the stuff that you would find on like the marketing insert on arcs. Like that stuff is making it into descriptions, which is pretty bad. But hopefully with time it should be back to normal, I guess. Like I know that they just got their website back, so maybe they just I guess the data update is the last thing on their minds right now, which I don't blame them, but whatever. It should be done. I know some people finally got shipping notifications for their pre-orders, so I hope mine for The Fake by Zoe Woodall will still come. We shall see. I got an email saying that the orders or the items in my order was canceled, but I just wanted Venco canceled. So I don't know if they canceled the rest of my outstanding order, which included The Fake, or if not. So I guess we'll see what happens. Do I trust Indigo still? Hell no. Like I'm not shopping online with them for a long time. Like that will not be happening at all. Which is why I've ordered a few books from Book City and Book Depository, obviously. Alrighty, thank you so much for listening in on this probably very short and pointless episode. I appreciate you. I guess needless to say though, since most of my books are kind of in the garage right now, except for what I recently bought and like kept on one bookshelf here. Like there's no way I can do my TBR jar, so I'm just gonna put that on hold for a while. And just work with what I have here because I did select a good amount of Canlit books to keep on my shelf. I just haven't read them yet. Classic bookworm. So, yeah, anyways, I will leave you. I gotta go clean my house again and hope that this house sells fast so I can spend more time recording the podcast. So, yeah, thank you again so much. I'm sorry this was really short. I'm just on a huge time crunch right now. But, anyways, bye. Thanks for listening to the Get Canlit podcast, a show that's all about what Canadian authors you need to read next. Don't forget to rate, review, and follow on your favorite platform, and watch out for new episodes every other Tuesday. You can find me on social media at Get Canlit Podcast on Instagram and Facebook, and at Get Canlit Pod on Twitter. Thank you, and I'll see you next time.